Welcome, Spiritual Mag. My name is Sam Bell. Loved one, I am a conscious channel with a capital C. I am a conscious channel. It was a blessing from a divine being of light referred to as David. A conscious channel who communicates with a guardian angel is best understood as someone who believes they can intentionally enter a receptive psychological and spiritual state in which they experience guidance, insight, or communication that they attribute to a benevolent, non-physical intelligence. This description does not require the listener to accept the metaphysical claim as a literal fact. Instead, it explains the phenomenon as the individual understands and as the individual experiences it. Core characteristics. A conscious channel differs from passive or involuntary spiritual experiences in several important ways. Intentionality. Intentionality. The individual deliberately cultivates a focused state of awareness, often through meditation, prayer, breath regulation, or contemplative practice, rather than experiencing spontaneous or uncontrolled impressions. The channeling is entered knowingly and exited voluntarily. Metacognitive awareness. The person maintains awareness that they are in a distinct state of consciousness. They can observe their own thoughts, emotions, and sensory impressions while remaining mentally organized, oriented, and communicative. I don't leave my body. Perceived external source of information, the insights, images, words, or emotional impressions are experienced as originating from an intelligence perceived as separate from the ego or ordinary internal dialogue. This source is typically characterized as protective, ethical, and oriented toward spiritual guidance rather than command. Symbolic and interpretive content, well, communication rarely arrives as literal speech alone. It often manifests as symbolic imagery, intuitive knowing, emotional resonance, or sudden conceptual clarity. Meaning is interpreted rather than dictated. Psychological and experiential framework. Well, from an adult, the secular perspective, conscious channeling can be understood as a highly integrated intuitive process. The brain, when quieted of habitual noise, is capable of synthesizing memory, pattern recognition, empathy, and moral reasoning into cohesive insights that feel received rather than constructed. Several cognitive mechanisms are commonly involved. Reduced activity in self referential thought loops, heightened introspective awareness, strong narrative coherence, emotional regulation, and calm attentional focus. Because these insights arise without obvious step by step reasoning, the mind may experience them as external communication. The concept of a guardian angel, well, within spiritual belief systems, a guardian angel represents a personalized, enduring source of guidance associated with protection and ethical development and life direction. In adult language, this figure functions as a stabilizing internal reference for moral reasoning, a symbolic representation of consciousness, wisdom, or higher order values, a relational framework that allows dialogue rather than abstraction. And for the conscious channel, the guardian angel is not merely a metaphor, but a relational presence with consistency, personality, and continuity over time. The functional outcomes, loved one, individuals who identify as conscious channels often report increased sense of purpose and meaning, heightened responsibility for ethical action, emotional grounding during stress or crises, and a service oriented worldview. Crucially, healthy, conscious channeling does not involve loss of agency, diminished critical thinking, or abdication of responsibility. The individual remains accountable for decisions and recognizes that interpretation, not infallibility, governs the experience. Loved one, in adult terms, a conscious channel who communicates with the guardian angel is a person who has developed a disciplined, introspective practice through which they access intuitive guidance perceived as relational and benevolent. Whether interpreted spiritually or psychologically, the defining features are intentional awareness, cognitive stability, ethical orientation, and personal responsibility, not a blind belief or a surrender of autonomy. Loved one, you and all your loved ones are always in my prayers. Samuel Joseph Bell, civilian journalist, spiritualmag.org.